Hello everybody, we are here in my kitchen today. I'm Dorina, this is Dorina's Kitchen, and we are cooking some Easter treats today. So, happy almost Easter. It's Easter week. Today's what they call Holy Thursday, and in Italy they follow so many of the Italian Catholic traditions. So today is the day where they do the ceremony of the washing of the feet in church and all that kind of stuff. So if you're familiar with that, you know, it's also the day of what was the Last Supper. So it was a Passover back then, and the oven's ready. Anyway, it was the Passover and the Last Supper, and what a better thing to, you know, to work on and to share, kind of actually show what we do, trying to get people back to the table. That was a big table they had back then. And again, what did they do? They met at the table. So anyway, so today we're making a dessert. So of course, you know, as I always say, dinner brings them to the table, but dessert keeps them there a little longer. So we are making something similar to one I made last year. Last year I made one called kudura or pupa pulova, which is a Sicilian cookie with the egg in the middle. So we put the hard-boiled egg right smack in the, well, actually it hard-boils in the oven. But we're making one that's a little bit of a different recipe. This one is called Scarcelle di Pasqua, which is a very similar cookie, but it's of the Puglia region. So each region sometimes has like this, almost the same recipe, and yet it's different. So everybody has their tweak and take on it. So we are going to make the Pugliese one this time instead of the Sicilian one. So we're going to start out, we're going to actually do this kind of like we do pasta. It's a very, you know, not too far off from a pasta dough, except it's got a little bit of sugar in it. So we're starting with 500 grams of flour, equivalent to just over 3 cups, so like 3 cups and a little bit. So you could get away with 3 cups even. At the end, you just pay attention to how much liquid you put in. All right, so we've got 3 cups and a little bit of flour. We have 100 grams of sugar, which is about a half a cup. Oop, we're just throwing it in. Now, the other dry things that go in here, we're just kind of hand mixing this in. We're going to make a hole here and put our eggs in. I don't know if anybody watched me last year when I was making these one cookies that I forgot about sniffing the ammoniaca. So ammoniaca is the ammonium carbonate, which is also the equivalent of baking powder. This is just an Italian one. When it's not cooked, it smells like ammonia. Do not sniff it. It cooks out. It's like this chemical reaction. It's really cool. As is baking powder. Is also a chemical reaction. If you don't have this, you can use this. Either one. Just don't use baking soda. That's too strong. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use the Italian stuff. So it's 10 grams. It's basically just about a, what is it, 2 teaspoons. Making sure it's all soft here. So we're going to go 1 and 2. Okay. And I'm keeping it away from me, as you should do. All right, and then we're going to put in a little lemon zest. I'm going to just kind of cover this stuff up so I don't get it on my fingers before I'm ready to mix things up. So we're going to put some lemon zest in here. Just right in the dough, we'll mix it all in. So we're going to zest a whole lemon. You've got to have that good lemon flavor. So might as well just spread it all around. That smells so good. It's amazing what just that everybody's like, and you look at this little teeny bit of lemon zest, you're like, what is it doing? It's just this little bit of stuff, but boy, it gives off such a great flavor. Just don't get the white stuff, that's bitter. Just get all the shiny yellow pieces, and we're done. Okay, so lemon, got that all in here. So now we're gonna make a nice hole. So we've got our flour, our sugar, our leavening, which is either the ammonium carbonate or baking powder. We'll put a pinch, just a pinch of salt. I'm just gonna kind of do that. All right, and then we're gonna crack 3 eggs into the middle. And we're gonna treat it just like, ooh, that sounded nice and loud. Crack 1. Just make sure, good thing with brown eggs, you can see it against the flour if you get a piece of shell in it. 2. And 3. All right. So we are just going to, now you can do this with a fork or you can do it with your hands. I'm going to go ahead and use my hands. You know why? Because I didn't go get a fork. I'm just kidding. Okay. So, just breaking up my eggs, and I'm just going to throw in a little bit around the sides, mix it together. This is the funnest way to make anything, is with your hands. You can use your mixer, you know, blend, you know, move it, do it on a slow speed, but this is more fun. All right, so now we just have, now we got this mixed in. We got 2 more little ingredients to put in. We need a little bit more wet. So we're going to put in ½ a cup of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So that goes up to my little line here. There we go. Actually, what am I saying? It's not ½ a cup, it's ¼ cup. I was going to put in way too much. Woo! So we're going to put in a little bit of the oil. And then we have the same thing, ¼ cup of milk. So warm milk that I just warmed up. So I'm just putting that in. And we're continuing to mix. You gotta be careful because it's a good thing Louie's around. He'll come back later and get everything I spilled. Now we're gonna put in the rest of the oil and the rest of the milk. And oh, it smells good. You can, you know, the oil and the lemon gives it such a great, it smells Italian. Extra virgin olive oil. Move that out of the way. There. Okay, and then just pull it together, and now it's becoming a dough. So, oh yeah, nothing like squishing dough. Nice and smooth, and smells yummy. All right, so you know what I'm gonna do? Just for a minute while I'm clearing stuff off, I'm just gonna cover that up for a second. Of course, I'm trying to move it over. There we go. All right, and I'm gonna clean up because I'm gonna use this space to make the shapes of the cookies that are really cool. So most of the cookies we're making, we're gonna make in a braided shape. So we're gonna braid the dough, and it's going to go around the egg, and it's really pretty with some sprinkles on top. But we're also going to cut some out, and sometimes what people do is they'll use the shapes, you know, typical Easter shapes. They'll do, you know, bunny, a basket shape, or what I'm going to do today is the colomba. It's the dove, because the dove stands for peace, and right now we really can use that in this world. So aside from being a symbol for Easter, it's just also a symbol for peace in the world. So we took scissors and cut out a little dove. So we're going to cut a couple of these out in the dove shape, and the rest of them we're going to do the braid. Now what I would tell you is, normally I would let this rest, I don't know, at least 15-20 minutes, or maybe put it in the refrigerator a little bit. We are going to go ahead and do it now, and just know that it will work better when you let it rest. Always got to have a little bit of extra flour. So we're just going to put a little flour down here. I just forgot to leave it out. All right. So we're going to start with one of these. We're just going to take a small piece, and we're going to roll it out, because we're going to do the first one with the dove. All right. We're going to cut out our little dove with our little knife. Just use this as a trace. Yeah, I know, probably somebody's got a cookie cutter this shape, but who needs a cookie cutter when you got a piece of paper? All right, there we go. And we have our dove. We're gonna put it right here on this tray. Bring this forward here for a minute. So we've got our dove, see, there it is. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to take an egg that is sitting here sweating. It's hot here today. I'm going to make it dry. Make sure it's nice and dry before you put it in. We're just going to sit this in the middle. It's just sitting there on this flat cookie. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this dough and we're going to roll 2 more pieces. Got it stuck together there. We're going to cut 2 strips in the shape of a cross, of course, appropriately for Easter. So, 1, this way. And we've got 2 skinny strips, probably a little longer than we need, but we can always cut them off. So we're just going to go across there, break that little piece off, and across here. And you just pinch it together at the bottom. Very simple, so if you can see there, okay? So now, the last thing we do with this particular one is we take my little up over here. The important things, this is the end. Actually, we should probably do that at the very end. Just FYI, these are little, the little nonpareil sprinkles. Don't leave them open because guaranteed you'll knock them over like I did earlier. And they go everywhere, they bounce. I don't know if you knew this, but they bounce. Okay, so now we're going to do the other traditional shape. So what we're going to do here now, just knead this back together here, little pieces. And you can do it a couple different ways. I can cut this and roll 3 pieces, or I can roll 1 and cut it. I'm going to go ahead and cut 3 pieces out of this. And I'm going to roll them into as long a piece as I can, not skinny, when I'm kind of medium, I'll show you. Probably like the size of a Sharpie marker. Everybody knows what that thickness is. About the size of your finger. Unless you're like a bricklayer, they always have these really big fingers. So if you're not a bricklayer, you're in the kitchen, you're okay. All right, so you can see, nice roll there. This piece is a little bigger, it might end up being longer, but we'll cut them to match. Always start when you're rolling, you start in the middle and you work your way out. You don't push too hard on any one side. You move with the roll. Okay, 2, and last one. This one's a little smaller. Put a piece in here. So you just add, you adjust as you go. Gotta say, for not resting very long, this dough is so nice. Okay, so what we do here is we bring the 3 pieces together. I'm just gonna cut the ends so that they're all the same length. And we're gonna pinch one end. So we've got this, beautiful thing here with the 3. And we're gonna braid it. So we're gonna braid, whoop, flipped it too far. And we're gonna braid to the middle. And braid to the middle. You want a nice tight braid. You don't want it to be this loosey-goosey thing. And we've got this beautiful braid. Now we're going to take this braid and we're going to put it in the middle. I'm going to get my egg here. I'm going to put an egg in the middle. Well, actually, we're going to make the braid into a circle first. We're just going to make a circle. So I did make this kind of big. I'm going to cut a piece off. The size of like a big donut. You're going to pinch the 2 ends together. You're just going to stick your egg in the middle. It will, believe me, you don't even need to attach the egg or anything. And so look at our 2 really pretty pieces we've got here. We've got the dove, the colomba, and the braid. So the last thing we do is we take a little bit of milk and we just brush it with some milk. The dough, not the egg. And then make sure you get the crisscross. And then we're going to decorate it with some of these things that go bouncing all over the place. So a little bit of sprinkles. Put some on the top, some on the tail, some on the head and the wings. And there we go. And we have our pretty little, so we're going to stick these in the oven right now while we make a few more. So you want this on a 350 to 375 oven, again, depending on your oven. Mine runs cool, so I use 375. But always a good idea to check the temperatures of your oven to see how well they go. Sometimes you can find the little, they call them oven thermometers, they're in the grocery store, and it's just a couple dollars, and you hang it in your oven and it tests your temperature. So put on 350 and see if that actually matches it. It's a good thing to know what your oven's temperature is. So while we are waiting for that one batch to cook right there, we are going to make a couple more of these. I'm going to do the braids. There's other shapes you can make. You can actually just put it around the egg plain in a big tube if you want to, or you can just take two pieces and twist them together. I love the braid though. It poofs up and it gets so pretty. So a little bit about these cookies. You know, they're different names all over Italy. So like I said, this one is from Puglia. The whole idea of it is that it's, these are symbols, like I said, of peace and of good luck, and of like rebirth. That's what the whole thing behind Easter, oops, broke apart. Easter is all about, rebirth. So that's why they use the rabbits and the eggs, because they're hatching. It's all symbols of birth and life. So not a bad thing. No matter whether you're Italian Catholic or you're something from somewhere else, most of our heritages and our foods and our faiths all kind of intertwine. We Italians have a different food for every holy day. I don't know what the origins of them all are, who started it or what, but, heritage, faith, and family, it's all important stuff. And it all goes together. All right, so I got another braid here. And of course, you can also make these same cookies without the egg in it. You can do a piece of braid and just have a little segment of it, or you can do the ones with the egg in it. And always make them. You just want the hole in the middle to be good enough for the egg, so you don't necessarily have to make them huge. But some people will make these things really big and then just stick 2 eggs in the sides. There's so many ways to do it, and it makes it fun. Because then you make it yours, how you want it in your family. So here's my little milk, my sprinkles, and don't forget the egg. Whoop. There we go. They're so cute, aren't they? I think so. I like making things, we eat first with our eyes, so you could also, if you want to do something, here's a cheat. Just make let me get a little bit of flour here. You want to cheat and you're in a hurry, you don't got time to roll, or you just don't feel like rolling, make a piece, cut your strips. Let's see how this comes out. I'm making this up as we go here. Okay, so we just cut it, because once they poof up and the end's already, we're making a smaller braid here, and we're just braiding the strips. They're perfectly beautiful when you roll them out, but you get these little. If you got the last leftover piece, just make a braid. Just put it on like that. So this recipe, if you're just doing, let's just say just the braided ones, you would probably get 4 nice braided ones. They're pretty good size. If you make them smaller, you might get 5. So just so you know what this recipe will yield, it'll give you a good 4 of them. So if you want to triple it or quadruple it, like I usually do, then that's what you do. So that everybody in the family, when you got 6 kids, gets one, and everybody else that comes with them. All right, one more braid here. So this one, and if a piece breaks, you just tuck it under, because when it cooks and it poofs up, you can't tell the difference. So don't freak out and say, I can't do a braid and blah, blah, blah. It's okay. We all are just students of this game of life here. Okay, so perfect. We got one more good size one, better than I thought it was going to be. It looked smaller, but it was fine. Because you know what, the other ones I made, I had to cut things off of. These were just right. Okay, some little sprinkles. And the egg. And you can use any egg. You can use a white egg, you can use a brown egg. Get those blue eggs, those are cool. All right. Let's move this over a little. All right, so we've got a couple more here. So these are kind of fun looking, huh? So what I'm going to do right now, we are pretty much done with this, but I am going to show you what the other ones look like, even if they're not quite, let's see. Woo! You can smell the science project of the ammoniaca coming through. But I'm going to show you really quick, even though these aren't done yet. I want to show you how nice and puffy these are getting. Look at this. Whoops. They're puffing up really pretty. So I'm going to cook them a little longer till they're just a little golden. They're actually close to done. And that's it. So make some of these scarcelle if you are from Puglia or from anywhere. Or you can go back to one of my videos from last year and look at the kudura or pupa kulova, that's the other name for the Sicilian version. But they're all good, they're all fun. Make a good eat. These are great to put in kids' Easter baskets. You know what? Instead of candy, fill it up with cookies that aren't too sweet. They taste good, they look festive, they're traditional, and you know, they're, I guess we'll call them a little bit healthier because it's not just sugar. So anyway, so have a wonderful Holy Thursday. Enjoy the cookies, and I will see you next time with the next fun recipe to bring your family to the table. Ciao, love you all.